Good morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, June 20th. We've returned to trading today after markets ended in the green, but basically flat ahead of yesterday's holiday. During regular trading on Tuesday, the Dow picked up 56 points or 0.15%. The S&P 500 added 13 points or a quarter of a percent. The Nasdaq gained 5 points or 0.03%. Bill, let's get into Thursday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are showing a lot of positive action, up 0.33% this morning, 0.3%. You're still seeing a lot of strength in the semiconductors. That's really helping out the market. There's no real impedance that's causing that move. I don't Micron. Micron is scheduled to release their earnings next week, but I'm a little cautious with these semiconductors right now because today's a big move for those stocks. Listen, we had a host of earnings come out this morning, none this afternoon, but we'll get more into that in a few minutes. This morning we had multiple central bank announcements. The Bank of England was the big one that I was waiting for. That came out at 7 a.m. And essentially, they're leaving rates. They're not making any changes to monetary policy. Now, the Swiss National Bank, the SNB, those guys did cut rates by 25 basis points. Something to keep an eye on. Another thing to keep an eye on this morning, really the jobless claims. That's kind of almost like a real-time employment report. So it's going to be one that you got to keep an eye on. Then we're kind of looking out overseas at the action overseas. And, let's face it, let's take a look at Germany. Germany, is trading higher by 0.43% or 78 points. It's pulled back a little bit. It was up, higher, but, it was up over 100 points. Now it's up only 78 points. The FTSE up 25 points or 0.31%. Bank of England left rates unchanged. One thing about Germany is their producer prices fell 2.2% year over year. And that came against expectations of a 2% drop. So that's actually, that bigger number is actually positive. The CAC is showing gains of over 0.8% this morning. That's kind of good to see. But the near-term risks in French stocks remain elevated ahead of those elections, so we got to keep an eye on that. Then we're looking last night in Asia. We saw the Nikkei jump 62 points. We saw some strength in tech stocks in the Nikkei last night or early this morning. They got their inflation data coming up Friday morning, so that's something to keep an eye on. Hong Kong dropped 95 points or 0.52%. The Shanghai dropped 12 points or 0.42%. The PBOC left the lending rates unchanged, which is, matches what the expectations were. Property stocks and tech stocks were weak on Hong Kong, so, a little bit concerning. Now we're just turning our attention over to oil prices. And, oil prices are trading higher. We got WTI up 0.2%. We got Brent trading higher by 0.4%. The key is oil stockpiles report. The EIA stockpile report, that's what's in focus. Now, we had the API report that came out Tuesday after the close. Now, that report actually showed a build in crude oil inventories, which is negative for oil prices. But, oil prices are caught between, geopolitical risks, what's going on, around Israel, Lebanon and Palestine, which could hurt oil supplies. And then there's concerns that U.S., inventories. So, that's the other big one. So we're going to keep an eye on those inventories data when that comes out, 90 minutes after the market opens. Because I wanted to let you know that it's not coming out. The EIA typically comes out at 10:30 today because yesterday was a holiday. It's coming out at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So that's something to keep an eye on. And that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, as we dive back into trading today, plenty to keep an eye on, as you mentioned in your opening, and we're going to dig through some of the details throughout the show today to give us a focus as we head into trading today. We're going to turn first to earnings action. A couple of things worth noting there. So, Bill, give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to earnings.
Well, let's start off with what happened on Tuesday after the close. We had KB Homes, ticker Kilo Boy. Um, they did release earnings. They beat by 35 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stock's not moving. It's kind of trading flat right now. That's at 56.60 is the last bid offers 57 to 59. So it looks like it's going to have an higher opening. Then we got the ones that came out this morning, and there were a number of them. Let's see, what do we have here? We're starting off with ACN, Accenture. They missed by 3 cents, but the cash flow data was very positive. You look at that stock, it's up over 8% this morning. Then you got Kroger, ticker KR, Kilo Richard, stocks up 3.41% this morning. Kroger beat by 9 cents, but slightly lower revenue, but it was a beat. So you're now seeing some positive gains in Kroger this morning. Then we get Darden Restaurants, ticker DRI, David Richard India, Olive Garden. They beat by 4 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. That stock's up 2.5% this morning. Tomorrow morning, we got the KMX CarMax. Their EPS is $1.02. Expected move is 10.42%. We get FactSet ticker then we get FactSet coming out. That ticker is the FDS, Frank David at Sam. EPS is $3.91. Expected move is 4.49% when they release, Emily.
And Bill, I have to point out here that Kroger was your pick of the day back on Tuesday. So we will check in on that pick by the end of the show. So stick with us till then. Now we're going to get to the day's economic events, a number of reports, and some Fed speak to keeping track of today. So Bill, give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Okay, before the bell today at 8:30 a.m., we get housing starts, we get jobless claims, and we get the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. Then at 10 a.m., we get the Atlanta Fed business inflation figures. And then at 11, the EIA oil stockpiles reports. Let's talk a little Fed speak real quick and see what they're doing, what we have on the agenda for today at 8:45. We're going to hear from Minneapolis Fed Bank President Neil Kashkari. At 4 p.m., we're going to hear from Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin. And then at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, San Francisco Fed Bank President Mary Daly will be speaking. On Tuesday, the markets heard from a number of Fed speakers, and they were commenting on the possibility of rate cuts this year. You got Fed Governor Kruger, who's out there saying she continues to anticipate it will be appropriate for central banks to lower interest rates this year. John Williams of the New York Fed feels that the U.S. economy is moving in the right direction, but that any decisions regarding rate cuts this year depends on the incoming economic data. But then there's Fed President Austin Goolsbee, who said the recent inflation figures have been very positive. And he thinks that there could be further easing in the future. Dallas Fed Bank President Lori Logan on Tuesday said we need to see more than several more months of data to really have confidence in our outlook that we're heading to 2%. So we got a mixed bag here, but it does look like they are going to start targeting rate cuts in the very near future, Emily. So that's positive for the markets, and that's what I have for you in terms of an economic update.
An economic update there, watching all those comments, Bill, using your NewsWare, also those reports, and of course your earnings action, all breaking down your NewsWare into the alerts that you're looking for, the data and information. You're also looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You're looking for data and information coming out of different sectors and segments, looking at stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So you're breaking it down for us this morning, Bill. What else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just looking at my Dow stocks. I got 16 higher, I got 10 lower, the rest unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing some weakness in Apple, but the other ones are trading higher, 0.2 to 0.3% higher. Even Tesla, which is a little surprising to me. We're getting some of the news behind it, like Amazon's planning to invest 10 billion euros in Germany to drive innovation and support the expansion of their logistics network and cloud infrastructure across the country. And Tesla, it's trading higher this morning, about 0.1%. But those May EU car registrations fell 34% year over year. So I'm a little concerned that Tesla might not be able to hold on to the green activity it's seeing this morning. We're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're talking Honeywell, ticker HON. Henry Oscar Nancy. Honeywell strikes a $2 billion deal to buy CAES systems from Advent. Boeing, ticker BA, they're delaying the return of those astronauts to June 26th due to a series of helium leaks. Also, there's some issues with the drivetrain. I read. McDonald's, ticker MCD. McDonald's is interesting to me. It's trading flat right now, but they're introducing that highly anticipated $5 meal day. Like within a week, and that's going to help boost that stock price above. So if you can get in under 250, it's a steal right now. What else we got? Merger news. Hewlett Packard Enterprises, ticker HPE, Henry Paul Edward, a British regulatory agency, said on Wednesday that it's looking into the acquisition of Juniper Networks. VNDA, Victor Nancy David Apple, Vanda Pharmaceuticals, their board rejected an unsolicited takeover proposal. I think they're just trying to, get a better price. Then we talk guidance news. ACN, Apple, Charlie, Nancy, Accenture sees Q4 revenue 16.05 billion to 16.65 billion. Street estimate is 6.49 billion. Okay. Steelcase, ticker SCA, Sam, Charlie, Sam. They reported Q2 adjusted revenue. They see Q2 adjusted revenue 36 cents to 40 cents, where Street estimate only has it at 30 cents. So that's a big uptick. Shareholders meetings, Universal Display, ticker OLED, Oscar, Larry, Edward, David. They're having a shareholders meeting today. It starts at 10 a.m. In terms of buyback news, AZO, that's AutoZone, Apple, Zebra, Oscar. They announced their board announced a repurchasing agreement of $1.5 billion worth of the common stock. So yeah, that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself that professional newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the trade topic of the day. Bill, what do you have for us as we jump back into trading today?
I'm going to go with Disney, ticker DIS, David India Sam. I mean, the box office data was pretty strong with that new movie, that new Inside Out 2. That really was a blockbuster for it. And I think this weekend's flow is going to be the same. And we're going to start seeing some strength in the stock, relatively soon. And Disney's close to approvals for Deadpool and Wolverine releases in China. That could happen any day now. So there's a lot of positive things on the near-term horizon with Disney. And right now the stock's a little weak. If I can get in under $101, if I can get in at $100.75, that would be a good entry price. I'm looking at yesterday's call volume, or should I say Tuesday's call volume, 62,088. The put volume was 17,476. So you see that there really is a bias on the call side. Open interest 755,469K versus put open interest of 524,977. Again, that's positive on the call side. Do like that. Major brokers do like the stock. They all have strong ratings on it. So if I can get into the stock, $100.75, I think that would be a good entry price. And I do think we're going to see some short-term appreciation later this afternoon or tomorrow morning on the stock. So that's my pick of the day. Walt Disney, ticker DIS, David India Sam, Emily.
Disney is today. And Bill, if my kids' enthusiasm about Disney and the new movie Inside Out 2 is any indication of enthusiasm in the stock, you will have a winner today. But we will follow that along with you today to see if you get a gain there. And coming up, we will check in with you about Tuesday's pick of the day. So stick with us till then. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Okay, what do we have here? Dow, ticker DOW, to acquire Circulus. No terms were not disclosed. Kroger, KR, pauses its share repurchasing program, expects to generate strong free cash flow and remain and they remain committed to investing in the business for long-term success and net earnings growth. I don't like that. I already made my money on Kroger, though. I'm happy with it. Jazz Pharmaceuticals, ticker JAZZ, John Apple Zebra phase 2 trial did not meet endpoints. Not good. MGM Resorts and Playtech partner for live casino content. Nike's releasing earnings next week. Target, ticker TGT. They started rolling out generative AI functionality to their team members. It's going to supposedly help with questions, with on-the-job job questions, and it could be very useful. Something to keep an eye on. Dollar Tree, ticker DLTR. The FDA sent them a warning label about inadequate response to the recall of these cinnamon apple puree pouches that they have. Apparently, they're still in the shelves in some of their locations. Germany finds Citigroup over fat finger failures. Germany finds Citigroup nearly 13 million euros for lapse in its trading system controls. Lilly's filing additional lawsuits over the sale of counterfeit weight loss drugs that are out there. AMD, the company on Tuesday, said it was looking into claims that its company data was stolen in a hack cyber criminal organization. Not good. Boeing, their CEO was on Capitol Hill on Tuesday. Just getting peppered saying, "Hey, you make too much money. Hey, you know what? You don't care about safety. Hey, you stripped all the concerns, all of the functionality of safety checks for Boeing in order to increase profits." It's a clown show. Senators are a clown show there. Dell, ticker DELL, David Edward Larry. Dell Technologies is assembling half of the racks for supercomputing that Twitter is building. Interesting. That's good for Dell. Dell's been pretty weak lately, but now it's starting to turn. And that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we get back to trading on this Thursday, let's do that check-in on Tuesday's pick of the day, which was Kroger. Hint there, you did already make your money in Kroger. I see of it this morning. How did your call work out?
Just worked out really well. Listen, the stock opened up, kind of on the high end, 52.30, and it did fall down to 51.81, and it closed at 51.98. And I said, get in under 52. So there's an ample opportunity all day on Tuesday to get in under 52. You look at the stock this morning after those earnings were announced. The stock hit a high of 54.82. I mean, that's like 4.5%. It's now trading, 53.46. So, if you got in at 52 or under, you made some nice money. I mean, Kroger was definitely a winner. Ticker KR, Kilo Richard. It's a win for the books, Emily.
That is definitely a win for the books there, Bill. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Disney pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.